lifetime engine warranty, and it comes with the Gilman Promise, which means that if you're not happy with the vehicle, just bring it back. Oh, and did I mention it's a better deal? So which one would you rather buy? Thought so. Gilman Guy rule number 14, don't overpay.
Visit GilmanAuto.com to see our huge selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Buy it, try it, and if you don't like it, bring it back.
Gilman, it's the way to go.
At Ron Carter GMC Buick in Alvin, we'll meet or beat any deal or give you $1,000. Come in now for over $14,000 off MSRP on 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 SLT. Find new roads at the original Ron Carter GMC Buick in Alvin and at roncarter.com.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Katie Furniture.
Celebrate spring with upgrades to your home furnishings with great varieties of styles at Katie Furniture.
Other store sale prices don't even compare to Katie Furniture's everyday prices, like our beautiful Berlin leather sofa and love seat for only $14.99, or the luxurious Monaco feathered down sectional was $19.99, now only $12.99.
Shop Katie Furniture and you'll never pay retail again.
Just 1 block north of West Green from I-10.
KHOU is getting ready to give you a new view of our great city.
Join us as we open a brand new studio on the Plaza at Avenida Houston,
bringing you stories that impact all of us.
From the heart of Houston's newest entertainment district.
Now at 6, 2 major stories impacting Houston. The eyes, of course, of the nation on St. Martin's Church as we say goodbye to Barbara Bush. We do have live team coverage coming up on that public viewing today. But first, dramatic video from the North Freeway, an 18-wheeler and at least a half-dozen vehicles burning across the southbound lanes. All right, the flames just roaring, this fire burning for nearly an hour now. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Hernandez. This breaker has turned into contributing to a very busy Friday. We're going to get out live to Russ Lewis. He's anchoring our coverage of the Bush visitation today. But first, let's check in with Doug Deloney in for Darby with the latest on this. Doug.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. Looking from Air 11, this is a live shot right now. I-45, the North Freeway, all southbound lanes blocked, and you can see this big rig crashed. At first I thought it was a tanker truck. I can't tell what kind of 18-wheeler it is, but it had a lot of fuel on board that spilled onto the freeway, causing a large fire. You saw the tape of the fire. The fire broke out around 5:12 a.m. Now the northbound and southbound lanes of I-45, the North Freeway, are completely blocked in both directions. The good news is you can see the fire is knocked out, but there is still smoke coming from that big rig. So all the southbound traffic, the inbound traffic on I-45, just south of West Road, you can see some cars still jumping onto the frontage road by going over this grassy median. Other cars are being forced off at West Road, the actual exit for West Road. And it's probably going to take a while for them to get this cleared out of the way. Let's take a live look from Houston TransStar, and I can show you exactly where this is on the maps. Here's a little bit of a closer look of the angle we saw earlier when those flames are coming up. The good news, like I said right now, is the fire is out just south of West Road. We hear that the 18-wheeler driver, this is unconfirmed, but we've heard the 18-wheeler driver was able to escape. He or she was seriously burned, but they were able to escape. Officially, it's only one car involved, but a police officer at the scene has reported there were 5 other vehicles somehow involved in this incident. Again, that information is not directly confirmed yet. I know we have a reporter on the way to the scene, so we're waiting to get more information on that. Real quick, I do want to show you where this is on the map. You can see elsewhere your freeways are in pretty good shape. Your other alternate routes for this, you're going to want to take the Hardy. This is one of those days where the Hardy toll road is going to pay for itself. It's a good option for you this morning. Beltway 8 North, you can take that over to the East Tex Freeway, and that's also a good solution for you. Or you can take 249 to West Montgomery, and then use West Montgomery to connect to I-45 North. Now, I understand Michelle Choi, one of our reporters, just got to the scene. Michelle, what does it look like from the ground?
Well, Doug, we just got here. We're actually on the northbound side of I-45 North, but I just want to give you guys a look right there. That is actually the semi driver who tells me that he was flung out of his semi truck after crashing into a barrier. At this point, you can see emergency officials just got here. They're surrounding him. They're about to carry him into the ambulance. We spoke with few of his coworkers who tell us that he is not doing so well. He was not burned, but obviously he is in a lot of pain. Again, He crashed into a concrete barrier. You see that semi truck over there that he was in. He was not burned, but he was tossed out of the semi truck. He was wearing his seatbelt apparently, but the crash and the force was so strong that he was flung out of it. Again, emergency officials surrounding him at this time. Frank, if you want to show the semi driver again, that's him right there. He was the only one inside that semi truck is what we're told. We're not sure how badly he was injured, but we do know that he was not burned. Excuse me, sir. Could you come here for a second? You told me that semi driver, that's your boss, right?
Yeah, that's my boss.
So kind of tell us, what do you know so far? What happened?
He says that there was an accident in front of him, and when one of the cars flipped over or something like that, and he just lost control of the truck and hit the barrier. That's all I know.
And you said that he was flung out of his out of the truck.
Yeah, yeah. That's what he told me.
Wearing his seatbelt.
Yeah, wearing the seatbelt. Yeah.
How is he doing so far? Is he talking to you? Is he conscious?
Yeah, he's conscious right now. He's dizzy, but he's okay. He's in pain, but he says that it's okay right now. He wants to go to the hospital. That's what he wants to do.
And he was the only one inside, right?
Yeah, he was the only one. Yeah.
I mean, how lucky is he that that fire was?
Lucky. He's very lucky because the roof pinched his legs and then he flew out of the truck.
Well, I hope he is doing okay. Thank you so much. Guys, like you just heard, apparently there was an accident in front of him which caused him to brake very hard and caused his semi to roll over. This was a fire that was very, very massive. We're not sure how many other cars were involved, but we do know for a fact that his 18-wheeler is out there right now on 45 north southbound lanes. Frank, if you want to show that. First responders have been able to, firefighters have been able to put the majority of the fire out. We're not sure what exactly the semi was hauling at this point. We're going to try and get that detail for you guys in the next few minutes. But again, majority of the fire is safely out. We're told there were no fatalities, which is absolutely amazing, because if you've been keeping up with Doug and you've been watching from TransStar, this fire was raging out of control, but firefighters have been able to put majority of it out. You only see a little bit of a smoke at this point. We want to go further and show you the actual semi and things like that, but we can't go any further for safety reasons at this point. But guys, just look. The semi driver is alive. He is okay. He is not burned. He is about to be taken into the ambulance. First responders on scene. We're going to try and get that detail of what that semi was hauling. It seemed like it was possibly fuel from the amount of just how big that fire was. We're going to continue to stay out here this morning. For now, I'm going to toss it back to you. Doug, back to you.
Okay, Michelle, and if you're still there and you can still hear me, what do you smell over there? I mean, can you smell the smoke? Okay. Can you smell the smoke in the air?
Smoke. I feel like yes, I do smell a lot of smoke, and I actually smell some fuel as well. Now, I'm on the other side of where the accident happened, so I don't know if from where I'm at, I can't exactly see a lot of the fuel, but let me ask this driver one more time. Sir, what was that truck carrying? What was that semi carrying? What was in it? Was it fuel? Was it cargo?
Trash.
It was trash.
Yeah, household trash. That's what we haul. Household trash.
Household trash. Okay, Doug, you just heard that. That was a semi carrying household trash, but from the gas and fuel, I mean, it seems like earlier there was just, you saw how raging and out of control that fire was, but household trash. And again, semi driver is here. He was hurt, but he was not burned by that fire, which is an absolute miracle from what you guys saw earlier. Doug, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. And that explains, I really thought it was going to be a tanker truck involved with that, given how much fire was coming from that. On the maps, I can show you real quick. Again, this is southbound I-45 is where the bulk of the fire was, the crash itself. I'm going to get rid of the Houston TransStar shot, and you can see traffic delays northbound as well, though, as you approach West Road. That's because the northbound lanes are completely blocked as well. Hardy Toll Road is a good option for you this morning. The East Tex Freeway between Beltway 8, that also is a good option for you. So use these alternate routes. Thankfully, traffic is still pretty much light all around town, so the delays could have been much worse. But because this crash happened earlier, around 5:12 a.m., we ended up with it not being as bad as it could have been. So a lot of people are just choosing to get onto Beltway 8, and that's their alternate route. But we know there's still a lot of smoke on the scene. They're going to have to clear out the fuel from the roadway. A hazmat team is going to have to take care of that. So it's going to take a while to get this cleaned up. I mean, at least 2 or 3 hours, given previous experience with this kind of scenario. So the truck looks like it crashed on the southbound side, or at least near the HOV lane. The truck ended up near the HOV lane on the southbound side, but almost entirely blocking all of the lanes. And what we saw was fuel spilled from the truck across the lanes of the freeway and resulted in blocking the entire freeway on its own. That's the southbound side of the freeway. And then eventually police arrived on the scene and they had to close the northbound side. Now, what we were learning from Michelle was, and the driver who claimed that there was a crash in front of him, and that kind of explains why we heard from police earlier in the morning that 5 other vehicles may be involved in this incident. So it sounds like some other cars were involved in an earlier crash, which then resulted in the big rig driver to crash into one of those barriers, that concrete guardrail. And then that truck driver says he was thrown from the wreckage and then ended up, as a result, getting thrown out, but not suffering serious burns as we had feared earlier. So it's incredible, though, that there were no deaths given the size of the flames we saw earlier. And I'm going to load up a different angle here from Houston TransStar. Given the size of the flames we saw earlier, it's incredible that nobody was seriously burned or even killed in this incident. This is a look at I-45 north southbound as you approach from Beltway 8, and you can see a live look from Air 11 on the right side of the screen as well. And you could just still see smoke coming up, so you know that residents in the area probably are smelling a little bit of this. The winds were coming out of the northeast. I know Cheetah was telling us earlier. So with winds out of the northeast, if you live on the other side of the freeway, on the western side of the freeway, then you're probably going to smell some of this, but we've not heard that it was a hazardous cargo that they were carrying. They claim it was household trash, which explains that fuel source was not fuel. It was literally a bunch of trash that was firing that up. So this is a look at the delay on the Houston TransStar camera on the left side of your screen. I'm going to look at another angle here from Houston TransStar, and this shows us the other side of that big rig. And you can still see that there are HFD crews on the scene working to get that fully under control. And there on the right side of the screen, this is a shot from Michelle Choi's crew there on the ground. You can see that is the truck driver being loaded into an ambulance. Thankfully, from what we've seen, he is alert, he's conscious, he's talking. We've heard that his legs may have been injured because he was possibly pinned inside the truck before he was thrown out of the truck. And they claim he was wearing his seatbelt when this crash occurred, and the truck ended up on its side and then causing a large fire across the freeway. But just thankful that he's alive, and he's going now for treatment, because we heard there were other vehicles involved in this incident. We've not heard the status of those drivers, but you can see it's obviously a major incident regardless, just because of the traffic backups in the area as well. So thankfully no deaths in this, given the size of the flames that we saw earlier. That's just incredible, because you can see the shot from Houston TransStar on the left, and on the right we have a live shot from Air 11. It's still a little bit of smoke coming from the scene. And again, I really thought it was going to be a tanker truck given the size of those flames, but it explains a lot when we hear it was household trash this truck was carrying. And again, this was on the southbound side of I-45 north. As you approach Mount Houston, 249, if you're coming in out of Tomball on 249, you can take that to West Montgomery and then use West Montgomery to connect to I-45 if you'd like. But don't stay on 249, because it's just going to connect you to right under this very large scene, and then you're going to get tied up in all the traffic that was forced onto the frontage road. So don't stay on 249 either. The Beltway 8, East Tex Freeway, Hardy Toll Road are all a good option for you right now. And again, on the left side of the screen, that's a live look at what's left of that big rig. And you can see it is just charred and burned. It's on its side. It's going to take hours to get that cleared out of the way. And even when they get that truck lifted and out of the way, they have to worry about what's left of the fuel that's spilled onto the freeway. And we saw that trickle of fuel